we're hanging bags now. So we're gonna get this explained out. If you missed this morning's episode, I'm gonna get you updated. So let's come over here.
Before you do that, lower that to 350. 380.
Zero? Or Venus?
Yeah, I can over.
Still?
Keep like that until finish the adjustment.
See what it does. I got 370. What, 370 or 380?
Yeah, 370 is good. So let's explain what happened now. We had to adjust the artillery because it was up by 240s. So I guess the needle was flipped up, hitting the side of the wall.
I'll put some gauze in there underneath that.
So this is one of the benefits of doing it at home. You actually see the pressure. So myself, I don't like this to go above 205. If it does, adjust the needle. If me adjusting the needle didn't correct it, then I will lower the blood flow rate to 370, as you see here. So we're going to put a little gauze underneath the artillery needle to raise up the head of the needle.
So when I do this, we're gonna, I got Eric taking note of the reading, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of relax this out a little bit. I had to use tape up here. I'll explain that in a minute. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a piece of gauze. I'll take probably 2 pieces today, because that angle, that gap. So I'm looking at the gap between the bottom of the needle and the arm. You see it has like a drop, like a hill. So it's got like a hill here. So what we want to do is we're gonna fold our gauze in half, fold in half again. Actually, I like to fold it long way, and then fold it up, fold it up. I got a nice little cushion. When it expands, it's going to expand upward. And what that's going to do is that's going to help position the needle downward. Again, I didn't take the first piece of tape off because I don't want to compromise that. And I'm going to put my chevron wing up and over. I'm going to take my piece that went over before, just kind of help capture that piece of gauze there. Keep it up. And then I'm going to retape this other section to his arm.
Yeah, as you can see that little technique he did, bring down from 205 down to 165.
So I'm going to give him a little bit more running room here so that it's not using the leverage to reposition that needle. Again, I'm going to try to put my tape over existing tape. I tab a little end. The saying, you tab an end, make a friend. Right?
Good.
You want to go up to back to 4?
Yeah.
So I turn the blood pump back up. 400. So we got lots of school on today. Glad you joined. Missed this morning. We're going to go over what happened. Very exciting.
So this is why it's good to have a care partner assisting you during treatment. So, you know, people like us, you know, anything that happened during dialysis treatment.
So we have an issue this morning. When I came here, we were live. Check out our other video, but I'll recap you here. When we went live, the chicken feet, which is it goes to the green, and the green end up having a leak on it down here. You can see the leak's still there where it's coming out of.
And that's coming from the sac itself.
You see, I put my finger right behind it. It's just give the shadow on there. But right where that connection is, there's a leak there. This is the micron filter. So what that means is your system's been compromised. I put the clamp on it just to bypass it for a second. Once we called the help desk and we called the unit, we reported it. We understand this is compromised, just as if if it was delivered with a cap off, right? So something could have gotten in here because it's not a sealed system. So you can't use this. It's infection control.
So safety first.
Safety first. We got the supplies. Let's do the right thing. So this is what we do. So we call, we report it. They want to know what the SAC number is and the lot number. I'm sorry, they want to know a lot number. They're going to record it. They asked us to return the SAC to them. So we're going to put it in the UPS, put it in a box, send it out to them. And then we had to hang bags. So it gets a little tricky on that because to hang the bag, you got to warm it first. So we didn't want to start over. What we did was we're able to go into the machine screen and we turned down the dialysate to 0. So it bypasses the whole pure flow system when this is at 0. It still removes the fluid, but there's no exchange, which is what the SAC does for the electrolytes.
And your blood's still running, so you're not clotting up.
And the blood pump still turns. So the problem we ran into when we're trying to get the warmer turned on is this warmer has a three-prong plug, but on the back to the NxStage machine it only has a 2-prong plug. So you see here, this is 3-prong. That's up top here, and this is supposed to go in the machine, but there's 3 prongs here. 1, 2, 3. You can't connect the 3-prong into a 2-prong. So we called the unit to see if they had any plugs. The dialysis nurse there is awesome. She home hemodialysis nurse. She came shooting over with a bunch of different sets of cords. Meanwhile, I asked Eric, has he ever run this warmer before? He said yes. And he said what he had to use was the pure flow power. So power cord. So we went to disconnect the power cord. We unplugged the wrong one. So we turned off the NxStage machine. And luckily the NxStage was on the phone. And so when we turned it back on, you don't hit the on-off switch. Just put the power plug back on. It gave a, what was that, a 40?
A 40 code.
A 40 code, which we just bypassed. We just reset that. And all the numbers came back on. We were able to get the machine up and running. It was just a simple power failure. And then what we did was we found the right cord for the pure flow and we unplugged it and plugged it in the back of the warmer so we can get the bags warmed. And at that point, we got to start the process like as if we're hanging bags, right? So we put the main bag on. We hang our 4 other bags. You got to prime each of these lines. So priming it is, these were open. You open them, you unscrew, and you let the fluid come through here once it's spiked. So just to show, this gets confusing if you don't have NxStage or if you're not familiar with what we're talking about. This spike here spikes into the bag, which is ultimately feeding this bag from these bigger bags up top. right? So it goes with gravity. Gravity's coming down, it feeds this bottom bag. Everything comes from this bottom bag. This is why we want this warmer to be heated first, so that we can continue the dialysis treatment without having Eric have a chill from the dialysis. So we have the spike here. We got to prime each of these out. And then we connect them. And of course, when you open up these bags, always check the color, check the prescription, the expiration date. See, it's a 204. And check the expiration date, 6/1/2023. And make sure the clarity, these are clear. You hold them up, make sure there's no leaks, right? You don't want this to be compromised either. So you take the white caps off. They're usually loose when they come out of the bag, so you always got to tighten them first. And then hang the bags, and then once these are done primed out, you go ahead and you take the white cap off, and you take the brown cap off, and you screw them together. You got to keep these tips sterile or as clean as possible, right? Put them on, and then there's a glass vial or a little plastic vial in here that you got to break. So after I get them all connected, I go around, I break them all, and then so now these are feeding this bag. So the next thing we got to do is we got to go back down to the chicken feet, and we clamp off the chicken feet, and we take the end that was connected here, which was this end right here, was connected to here originally. The green, right? So you got to disconnect the green and green. Basically throw out the chicken feet now. So that this is, we're not using this. So this goes off to the side. That's off to the side now. So I got this line, and then there's an adapter. This piece here is an adapter that comes with these, I call them the chicken feet for the hanging bags. So you got this line here, so I go ahead and a white cap here. You unscrew the white cap, screw this one on, make sure this is clamped, break the vial, and then this had one of these rubber stoppers on the end of it. So I'm going to prime it out. So I'm going to unclamp the clamp, unscrew a little bit, let the fluid come down. And this is already primed out, so then I just connect the two together. And so now that's where it's pulling in all the dialysate is from here, which again is coming from the top to here to down through this line. So now we need to do the drain line. So the drain line is the yellow line, right? So the yellow drain line was originally, comes from, right from your cartridge, was originally plugged into this yellow line. And this yellow line, we had to disconnect it. So what we did was we ran that down back behind Eric. And so let's go into the bathroom here. So we run it down on the side. This is one line. We didn't have to put an adapter on it. So you see that clear plastic line? That's going to come down. Bring it around. Bring it around town. And you come in here into the bathroom. So we put tape on here to secure it. And we got it going right into the drain. Okay? So that's what we had to do with that. Let's come back to Eric. And so meanwhile, the home hemo nurse showed up, awesome as she is. She brought some cords, but unfortunately, they're all the cords we had already. So now for the future. And what we wanted to do is we didn't want to wait until after treatment to replug the pure flow. So the home hemo nurse had a power cord, so that's what we did. We ended up connecting the power cord back on to the machine. Back down here, I'll show you where that's at. Right down here, we use this plug here, the top one. And then that runs into that wall down there. So that's how we end up getting the pure flow back and running. So now we went ahead and we had the pure flow was thinking there was a power failure. So we had to start it. We had to hit go, like it's going to a treatment. And then we stopped it, hold the stop in again. It actually wants you to drain, to hit stop. So we hit stop. And so now we got it draining. It's got 3 hours and 5 minutes. It's going to drain the sac. So that's the importance of why you should have a care partner.
So that
It's a lot of stuff to do.
that was like
If you're on your own, you guys do this, you are definitely champions. You know, it's you know, I'm a trained professional, 28 years in dialysis. Eric's been dialyzing for he's been in dialysis for 6 years. Been doing home for a couple years now. And
this is
all of our heads together was able to put this back and get them up and running. Minimal delay as possible. But just look out, watch your filters. There might be a bad batch out there. You see it's still even got some drip coming through.
So any drips or anything like that, there could be any there's bacteria inside the solution itself.
That's why you don't want to use it. If anything's compromised, don't use it. You know, again, this was something that we weren't expecting today. It was a intuition of mine. You know, we have a very systematic routine. There's something that's wrong in the routine. There's a glitch in the matrix, as they say. And you gotta listen to it. Listen to your intuition. You feel something's not right. I came here, I asked Eric about, why is this line wet? Did you prime it, over prime it? Yeah. Okay, let's clean it. But we want to make sure there's no leaks. Safety first. So everything was going fine. I come back around, take a look at it, it's leaking. So I traced the leak down to right here. And, you know, that just having, you know, that's all the way down here in the system. That means that air has been entering there. Germs could be entering in there at some point. You know, if we were in a war zone, I'd probably say do this style with the double clamps and continue. But there's no need. You got the supplies. There's other resources. You don't have to do that. You know, NxStage help was okay with us bypassing it, but they still think that because it's compromised that you shouldn't use it.
Yeah,
So we all agree on the safety.
You always got a 100 number to call for NxStage. Just in this incident here, we had to call them up.
And pretty much what I just went over, they've actually, you know, were able to explain it right over the phone. You know, it was a great experience. They know what they're talking about. They can relate in patient terms. You know, I let Eric handle the phone call on that. I chimed in when needed, but it was very minimal. They ordered him a cord that's going to fit his warmer now for forever future. But these warmers were changed out, and the prongs were changed. So it's something you guys should take a look at. God forbid you ever stuck in this position. These are 3 prongs. So the warmer's 3 prong. But in the back of the machine's 2 prong. Let me show you that real quick where the back of the machine's at. So you can see down there, it's a 2 prong. There's only 2 prongs there. Right here, right? So it's only 2 prongs there. So we had, and that one over there, that's your NxStage plug. We hit that one by accident. But this black one here, that's only 2 prong. The third's solid, so you can't put anything in there. And you know, it's quite an experience. What do we got time? What's our time now, Eric?
We have 2 hours and 52 minutes left.
So we got 2 hours, 52 minutes, which is pretty much 12, 1, 2. We're going to be about an hour behind.
And the only thing we did different was instead of using 60 liters, since I'm using bags, I went down to a 50-liter bag. And the pressure, where it says they used to be up to 15 point something. Now it went down to 12. But the fluid rate's different between hanging bags. You know, the hanging bags is working by gravity, not by a pump.
So he got about 10 liters out of that 60-liter pack. So that's why we ended up dropping this down to 12 liters, and we're only going to do, when he hangs bags, his prescription is only 50 liters, but when he uses a sack, his prescription is 60 liters. Since we use 10 liters already, we're only going to do 40 liters of bags, which is 5 liters per bag, so 8 times 5 is 40. So we got 5 up right now. We're going to hang an additional 3 more when this gets a little bit lower.
And for safety reasons, that sack that I'm draining, that sack is going right back to NxStage. So I guess they're going to do their investigation and see what happened.
So even though you go home, it's still a collaboration. You still collaborate with the help from NxStage. You're still collaborating from your dialysis center. I mean, I wouldn't expect every dialysis center home hemo nurse to come to your house, but
Judy's the best.
you know, we have the great relationship with the local dialysis company, and you know the home hemo nurse is there. You know, they thought they might have a cord that can help us. Unfortunately, though, we had to just stay with what we did, which works. But you know, it's putting the piece of the puzzle together. So our goal is to share with you our experiences with home dialysis, the things that you can do, the things that will go wrong, the importance of having care partners with you, you know, and you know how to troubleshoot when you see something that's out of norm. Keep an eye out on it. Just don't correct it and walk away. Come back, do a follow-up system. I call it closing the circle. We identify a problem. We're looking at it, researching it, clean off the water. I'm halfway through the circle. The next half of the circle is come back and do your follow-up. I come back. We're looking at it. We see it's still leaking. Boom. Now we're in. You know, we gotta do more. Right, so we come back, and now we finish this whole process out, closing the circle. Don't just think because you identify a problem, or you think it's just a leak from what you did earlier. Really stay involved, follow up on it, close the circle. Don't keep the circles open. Acknowledge it, accept it, act on it, and then attack it with as much speed as possible. 4 A's. And, you know, again, those who don't know us, this is the ET
moment.
Let's Go Home show. And we come to you every Friday at 9:30. We had to jump off because we needed some of our phones to make some calls.
That's how important a care partner was. Even though I did my priming, I set the machine up. Once you're in a chair, it's hard to look at and see what is working and what not leaking. That's why he came in and diagnosed the problem. And we went into the emergency mode and we fixed the problem. So thanks, care partner.
Thank you for being awesome too, Eric. You know, and that's where, you know, just collaboration comes together. Collaborating from, you know, Eric's experience, he's collaborating off of my experience. We reach out to the home hemo nurse experience. We got the NxStage making phone calls out to them. You know, it all works out together. You're not alone. You're home. You're not alone. There's a lot of knowledgeable people out there, you know.
Absolutely.
Again, my name's Tom, and I'm from Primo Healthcare Services. I got 28 years of dialysis experience. You got any questions? You need help transitioning to home? You want us to help guide you? Just kind of be your support in the corner. We know the ins and outs for the companies. We'd love to help you. You can reach out to us at info@primohealthcareservices.com. That's info@primohealthcareservices.com. And if you want to reach out to Eric, you want to learn about his experiences. He's done how many different dialysis?
I did all four of them. I did the manual, I did the PD, I did the NxStage and in-center. So I've been through all the treatments. I know how it reacts on your body. And you want to reach me. It's Gonzo here, GONZOHERE at Comcast.net. And on Facebook, it's Eric Gonzalez, GONZALEZ.